Well, it's been a while. A lot of water did passed under the bridge since I left off on this 300 Norman Mag project. But I timed it okay. Here we are. I'm coming back about the time these are breaking. And in their intervening months, things got a little crazy. No reamer, all this to do, and I had to, I'm trying to make this unbroken with a 5 or 6 month break right in the middle of it. But I did things to stay busy. So anyway, I've got this barrel up now. I'm at a crux here. I'm at a place. I'm at a time when I have to make some incisions. Prior to actually being here, I just in the back of my mind said, well, I'll make myself a fireform barrel. I'll make a fireform barrel. And it tends to take an old new, I don't know, it looks new when I look through it, but it's a factory 300 Ultra Mag. Throw an adjustable threaded locking collar assembly on it. I threaded it up, and I just felt like I had a fish hook in my gut the whole time. Something was just holding me back. I made this excuse and that excuse, why not to go make my fireform barrel, and I finally realized I just couldn't bring myself to stick that nice shiny new reamer into factory barrel, let alone a factory barrel that might have been shot. And if it had been shot, it'd been work hard. And if it had been work hard, it's going to eat the face right off of my new reamer. And no, it's not going to shoot any different. And no, it's not going to. Well, screw that. So I took this and chalked it. I may make a fireform with it, barrel with it, because they might be making thousands of rounds for this thing, and at least 3 guns on the table right now. So I don't want to get stupid, but I just couldn't. It took a while. Sometimes I have to go into a thing slow because my rational side or rational part of me goes ahead to do something only to find that I'm not really being rational. I'm trying to either cut a corner or do more than I should. Or the bottom line is, I don't think more than 3 of my reamers have ever been stuck into a factory barrel under any conditions. At $3 worth of steel just isn't gonna, if I found a good machining piece of 3/4 rebar, well, 1.25 inches. Anyway, I'm digressing. It's been a long time. I've got to get my head back into what we're doing with this 300 Norma Mag blasted out to an improved 300 Norma Mag. The reamer came in right as I was in the middle of modificating. I finally decided that it's weak sauce. I built a 15-pound gun, and I built a 15-pound gun with the idea that I could shoot a 50 BMG as a 15-pound gun. It's all off camera. You don't need to know it. But I built a big old muzzle brake for it, and I thought that this was the first one I put together. And I come to find out this little muzzle brake won't hold this thing down enough to make a little feeble human like me capable of shooting it. So I decided I would start beefing it up. And this is the first layer of added surface area. And some of you might notice I've ranted and screamed and grunted and made all sorts of deleterious remarks about muzzle brakes that angle backwards. And I do feel that way. But I also feel that this 50 BMG is in a class of its own. And there's no doubt that increasing the length, I doubled the length of these impingement areas and angled them to take more advantage of the gases as they blast and turn and come out of here, and they get hit again and they turn again. I'm going to build this, as you can see. It's got a plate underneath it. And this is pretty heavy wall, 1/8 inch. I'm going to build this up, put a cap on it, check it out, then start adding some angle plates, check it out. I decided to stick with my original integrity here and see if I could make this thing shoot full bore loads. Because I had kind of settled here months ago. We just shoot hand loads in there. Well, that means I can never sell it. That means all sorts of stuff that doesn't make me happy. I sell it to somebody and they just go buy some old cheap Israeli ammo and drop it in there and hurt themselves. Ain't nobody gonna be happy. So I decided instead, this muzzle brake is pretty well, it's not permanently affixed in the sense that I could take it back off. But once I took it off, I don't know that I could get it back on and get the pins driven in and get it locked back down. Right now it's on there. It'll take any force you can throw at it. And I just pointed at these and you couldn't even see them, and I'm sorry about that. I'm not talking about this. Okay, suffice it to say that it's in here because it's jigged up in a way that I wanted to save. So it's off to the side. So, in the meantime, I've had this 5, 6, 7 months while we're waiting for the reamer that I've been doing other stuff, catching up on other projects, going back and revisiting, taking a break, going out climbing mountains, trying to find myself, you know, that midlife crisis. Shoot, I identified as a petite Asian woman for a month. Just to try out this transgen. I mean, I mainly did it so I could get the free Chinese food with the graduating Asian kids, but when I went through and they were very polite and they let me through their things, and then when the food came, they didn't give me any food. They didn't honor my commitment. They wanted money, and it was free. So anyway, that fell away. So that whole trans experiment went haywire. Wasn't any good with that, but it's you know, a guy does what he's got to do when you're waiting. I got myself a spirit animal to help bide the time, because this is red man country out here, non-PC Indian country. You know, since Yellowstone brought the term Indian back into common parlance. So I figured I'd get me a spirit animal to help me. I'm a little hurt, you know, I'm between projects, so I went out and got a pig. And that was the thing. Well, not a whole pig. I honestly didn't get a whole pig because I didn't want to it was bacon. Okay, I got bacon. Bacon is my spirit animal. So it helped me through. It helped me through the hard times, because the whole world is sad now, you know, and everybody flipping there. So here we are, we're back, and it's time to pull the trigger and jump in on this pig. And for the last 3-4 days, I'm at a little bit racking my cabeza, trying to figure out, should I trim these cases back? And no, I don't want to. I want to be able to end up with a product that we can throw various brands of cases at, take them, turn a reverse lump on the end form to headspace against, jam them in, and get them to headspace correctly. And that's not as easy. The only thing I can do after that is I could bump the shoulders. But then if I bump the shoulders, we're going to be looking inside to show how, you know, you bump the shoulders and that changes. You still got that distance from the shoulder to the, to the neck to deal with. I'm making some jumps. I'm making some, what I'm trying to hit, what I'm looking at right now, is I want minimum unturned, untrimmed, and the minimum gap space. These are all slightly different. So I've gone and I've measured them all up. I've deburred them all. I am going to require it be deburred, I guess. And if any of them do jam, they'll go in and you'll feel them. And so what I'm going to do at this point is this right here is the barrel itself, and it is chambered and it is dialed and it is perfect to within less than 2 thou. I can easily finish it up. And I just ran a couple of drops. This is never something I'm going to use for tightening this barrel down, but for putting it on and off and off and on and off and on and on and off, I know what was fighting me. Because I'm dumb. Put that on the right way. Now this should screw in no problem. So, what I'm going to try to do is, without a dummy round, set this thing up. See, the proper way to do this is to set up a fireform barrel, fireform a dummy round, make sure everything is copacetic, and if it's not, adjust the headspace on your fireforming barrel by a couple. This is just de rigueur. This is just what we do. This is just like, duh, no. But I decided I didn't have a barrel that I wanted to spend the time of putting this big monstrous chamber in, because this is not an easy or simple little thing done the way I do it. Let's see if I can do this without too badly messing everything up. So here she come. We're going to go inside. We maybe take a look at it. I don't know why, without a cartridge in there, but one's got to go in before the other one. So we'll put this one in before that one into our new. There's our first land cut. A little bit of roughness there. Not a little bit of what I call dragging. Okay, there's a good shot, and that's a decent cut. So now we go up to the end, and that cut right there. Boy, I should have spent a little more time cleaning this, but I didn't, and so I'm not going to worry about it. Now we take at random one of our cases. Let's see where our... Don't tell me that I did all this off camera because I'm a dipshit. I am so sorry, people. Some days I should have just stayed in bed. Well, I am laboring under a massive case of walking pneumonia that I've had for what feels like as long as I've been waiting for this reamer. So I'll give myself a little grace for that, but that's no reason. I came in from here, I showed a land, I showed another land. I don't know what I did, but I did a little bit of, it's always fun to see this kind of stuff. I know that. I came in and checked it over, and I'm not going to go through and analyze this whole land assembly. But now I'll go up there and look at that. And now I've got to decide. Trim cases, jam cases, run case. I don't want to trim. Let's start with that. I want to be able to just flang factory. But by the same token, when these bad moments blow back and out and hugify, I don't want them to suck that neck back so far. The next time we do this, we're going to have this in here and we're going to be sucking that. Well, we're not going to be sucking anything at that point. It will have already been done sucked. These will have been, and we'll have some... My plan for this particular video was to have fireform cases and go in here and show you checks and fits and fitments. But unfortunately, even after my wild spiritual sabbatical settling my mind and my tummy and my pretty much all my innards, I decided I just couldn't do it. So, here we're going to look at what happens here when we slide this mama bear shut. Well, what happens on that one is that the neck is too big. I knew there was one or two in here, but it's been a week. I'm like a complete numb head. So I didn't go very hard. I will very gently. Don't do this at home, kids. What you just saw didn't happen. I did not just bash on the handle of a big old Kelbley's Atlas using a 3-pound maul. Okay, see that? Now, I could play with, I think I can do it the old-fashioned manual way. That's pretty close, and we haven't even ran down yet. So we go, and this is, like I say, it's not ready to close yet because I'm still a thou away, thou and a half, thou strong, maybe even a thou and a half strong of final headspace. So, I have to look at this, and I have to look at this with a few. At this point, you may want to wander off and get some Cheerios or something, because this gets boring and repetitive, and it might not make sense, and if it does, it may be uninteresting to certain. But there's that same, and boy, I have a hunch that by the time I push that in, another thou or two, and I chase it with the shoulder for headspace, there's a pretty good chance. I'll bring this up, show you a little better, because I know that is a little small in there. So, we go right there. We adjust the wampus cat out of this thing, and hopefully you can get a sense of that right there is the cartridge coming up into view. And I'm going to keep this up high and in the picture, and I'll show you this just a little bit. I'm going to have to get out my 3-pound maul again. Nope, there we go. We got it to break loose. I think I'm going to take this swag right here in front of God and everybody. This scientific wild-ass guess says that I think as I chase this, boy, I don't know why that went so goobery on me. I'll go bigger. Now I'll try to get this. Come on, baby. Come on. Well, you're going to have to use your homogenization a little bit, I guess. I am simply not going to get you as good as we want. I don't know why. Maybe down here's safer. Play with this just a little more, and then I'm going to get on with things so that I'm not just wasting your time. But suffice it to say, this is the cartridge coming into view, and this is it as it ratchets its way down. And I'm so close to zero that even if it was farther, I can't with one hand manipulate this and get that gap to close the way it's. There's a gap right there. Oh man, I'm trying to get this as best I can, but unfortunately for me, my focal length is, this is a big 30 caliber barrel. And this is not perfect. Hopefully you can get enough to see that that's the mouth of the case, and that I actually have very little room there. I can't manipulate that handle because she'd be rolling, and the way I roll, I can't hold that well enough. But it looks like at hand tight that we're close enough that by the time I drive that reamer in just enough to pick my gap clearance back up here, I should get my headspace. So that's what I'm going to have to do in lieu of a fireform barrel, because I chicken outed. I just can't do it. Why do I wreck a $400 reamer that I've been waiting 6-7 months, half a year, 3/4 of a... I went through 2 gender changes in there, come on. So we're going to try it. This is going to be new. It's not unexplored because I've explored all around it. I just always build a fireform barrel. And its function now becomes apparent. It's to set everything. It's to make everything click. It's to check everything. And that's not going to happen now, so we're going to take a wild guess here. Next time you come back, this will be out of the camera because I'll have my jigging taken care of and my top plate built and my measurements will all be... And this can go out of the way so we can talk about it another day. But for right now, I just wanted to keep a sense of continuity going. And even though I've had to fight for it because my personal life has been somewhat tortured, hopefully the rest of you won't feel the impact and you'll be able to just slide right along as though we've been building this thing non-stop, incognito, for 3/4 of a year. And that's all good. So enjoy the day. We'll catch you on the flip-flop. And keep the shiny side up, my peeps.